Okay, now that we know who the Oscar nominees are, I gathered some of my friends together so we can talk about who's going to win Best Picture. Hi, I'm Debra Birnbaum with Gold Derby, and I've gathered once again the Fabulous Five to talk about the Oscar nominations, which were just announced. Lots of surprises, but lots to talk about here as well. So I'm going to read off the nominations. We've got Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Pérez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Clayton, let's start with you. Who's your frontrunner and who's your spoiler?
God, why'd you start with me? Listen, today, following nominations, you have to say Emilia Pérez. You like, it's 13 nominations on paper. It really flex. So I think Emilia is the front runner. But honestly, I think any 6 movies can win Best Picture. 6 of those 10 can win. They have like their own individual pathway. Some are a little more narrow than others, but I do think Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Emilia Pérez, you could tell me they won at the end and I believe you.
All right, Scott, over to you. Frontrunner and spoiler.
Yeah, I think that it is hard to justify saying anything other than Emilia Pérez right now. It doesn't mean that it's a pick we can all be very confident in, but when you've got 13 nominations, literally only 3 movies have ever had more than that, and that was just one more, and 2 of those won. And it's just a formidable figure, especially in the era of the preferential ballot. It says that people across the board are really on board for this movie. That being said, I agree about that there are those 5 other possibilities. I at the moment think that The Brutalist might be the alternative, only partly working backwards. A lot of people are hesitant. It certainly happens, but hesitant to split picture and director. And if you look at director, the only other person there who I can really see winning is Brady Corbet. So other than, Jacques Audiard for Emilia Pérez. So it's still early, but that's where I am at the moment.
Anne, what do you think?
I keep changing my mind. Before the nominations, it was definitely The Brutalist for the same reason. Brutalist, I think Corbet wins director. There's no, and Adrian Brody. We'll see. We'll get there. But there's a lot of support for The Brutalist, but it's still an art film. It's still something very special and long, and it's accessible, but it's also alienating for some people. It's serious. It has gravitas. It has that look and feel of a big Oscar movie. It has the $10 million narrative of how it got made, which is very compelling, I think, for the Academy. And yet, Emilia Pérez is at 13. And why do I feel resistance to Emilia Pérez? I don't know. It's very.
A lot of people do.
Netflix is still disliked. There is huge antipathy. You will notice that in the documentary category, no Netflix shortlisted films were chosen. 3 of them. And they were, shunned, if you like. So I don't know how to say this. I'll have to go with Brutalist and Emilia Pérez.
Pete?
Okay, well, I just like you've said here, I think it's kind of undeniable when you have 13 nominations, although 2 of them are for songs and 1 of them is for international film. So as one pundit for another movie, Wicked, called me immediately and said, I think we're on an even keel. We weren't eligible in international and we don't have original songs. And so it's the same thing. And then I pointed out, but you don't have directing and you don't have writing. And the last time a movie won like that was Grand Hotel. And, so what are you going to do? But we have had 2 instances recently where the director wasn't nominated and the movie won. Green Book and Coda. So listen, anything's possible with this preferential ballot in the Best Picture race. So I don't think it's a slam dunk. Normally you might say that. I can't say that. I think the movie that might benefit most second is Conclave. And in terms of likability, across the board that I talk to people. That's one. The Brutalist, I talked to someone last night. They said, my wife and I just spent 3 days watching that movie.
Probably not the director's
It's
intention.
not the mainstream pick, and Conclave is the mainstream pick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but when I looked at the nominations, I felt Wicked picked up momentum because
Sure.
it was 3 more noms than the BAFTAs, which is significant. And I understand the director writer thing, but it is a rare thing. But that movie has real popularity and joy behind it. Conclave, on the other hand, I felt like it lost steam. It didn't get everything you might have expected, and
it didn't get, which was
exactly, precisely. Edward Berger didn't get in, and so the issue there is that it's light. It's not serious enough. Conclave, it'll win screenplay. That's it.
But that's
about A Complete Unknown? Is that a potential spoiler?
I think that's right.
It has
right
momentum.
I think it has momentum.
Extremely well liked.
When you talk about preferential ballot, it feels like the Academy loves this movie.
It's very well liked, and it's got a shot coming in late, and all of that. It definitely has a shot. It got all the key nominations you could get, including Mangold's first as director, which I thought was really significant. So yeah, that's why I say this preferential ballot will really play into it this year. It's really going to play into it. And what Anne mentioned about Netflix, it's what we say every year about Netflix. There is the resistance, and it's still there. It's because people don't want to make a statement that Netflix, they made it with Apple, but nobody paid much attention to that. But Netflix will be a statement if that can win Best Picture. And this is the movie, in my opinion, they've got the best shot they've ever had.
This definitely feels like their strongest contender for sure.
I want to add to this also, and I think this is why it's also hard for us to talk about it really hardcore today, is because we don't have the guilds yet. And why it makes it so wide open is that the major ones, PGA, DGA, SAG, there's a very good chance we're like 2015 and it goes to all different movies. And then we're all going to sit there on Oscar night and we're all going to flip a coin, a 6-sided coin, and be like, who won? And we're not going to know.
Wicked will win SAG, don't you think?
Well, I think Wicked wins SAG. I think Brutalist wins DGA.
Yeah.
And I think PGA maybe either Anora or Emilia Pérez. So at that, for me, a lot like Brutalist winning PGA would be, for me, a done deal. It's Brutalist, we're done. Because that would prove to me it could win on a preferential ballot.
And they're both the same night.
And they're both the same night, yeah. We all
got
got to divide and conquer. But I think that for us, that's going to be the real tell. Because, I mean, let's say even WGA, which you have to take with a grain of salt because there's so many ineligibilities.
There's so many films that aren't even there.
But Anora,
WGA, I just voted in it yesterday. I'm in WGA, and there's like about 3 movies that are nominated for Oscars.
Yeah,
guys, and then what? Guess what? Conclave's going to probably win BAFTA, so that's just
and
going to be.
And Conclave will win BAFTA. So, and I think that's the big point here. We're going to be sitting here, and like, if Emilia doesn't win any of the guilds, are we really going to predict it on the night with just Golden Globe? Which, by the way, is what happened to Moonlight. Moonlight won with just Golden Globe and WGA in original screenplay, which got flipped to adapted at the Oscar. So that's why this is making it really hard this year.
I will just say with Complete Unknown, if you work it backwards, and we'll have to see again. It would help a lot if it wins some guild recognition or something along the way. But I mean, you could see a scenario where Timothy wins lead actor, maybe even Edward Norton wins supporting. Like there are things where it could kind of fall into place where it looks like a more traditional Best Picture haul, as opposed to like. Emilia Pérez, what else is it going to win?
It's not good editing, though. A Complete Unknown.
Yeah,
sure. And I think I put less stock in those things that we used to look at more, and it would one category 3, like as we were saying with director. These rules, there's no causal reason that should affect picture. But my thing with Complete Unknown is that or as opposed to some of these others, like let's just play it out quickly. Brutalist. All right, so Brutalist, you could see theoretically picture, director, actor, supporting actor, best case scenario. Emilia Pérez, I get right now picture and supporting actress, and I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
it gets international.
Well, it's going to win song.
Unless I'm still here, it gets international.
Yeah,
sure.
And it gets supporting actress, Emilia Pérez.
Supporting actress, yeah. Anyway,
although I'm still there with
I'm
its
still
Best
here.
Picture
It's
nomination.
now giving it a run for its money.
It's
Yes.
giving
I
it a
don't
run
don't
for
count
its
out the
money.
Brazilians.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's been years where a film, I think it was maybe the year of Amelie, where the film that was, I believe, nominated in the major categories lost in the foreign language category. So it's not just automatic. Oh, if it's a Best Picture nominee, it wins, or if it's the more nominated this year, because it's the first time we have 2 out of the international feature category, 2 Best Picture nominees. Point is, sometimes people do split all right, we'll give this one international and that one gets something else.
That happened to Pan's Labyrinth.
That's right, that year too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They clearly like I'm Still There, and
I'm still here.
to get a Best Picture nomination. So I don't know. That would have been a slam dunk to me, international, for Emilia, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it.
So moral of the story is we don't know.
The moral of the story is we don't know, and I think I'm going to wrap it here and just say the preferential ballot has never mattered more.